Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm playing host tonight. And I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. David Tucker. Mr. David Tucker, welcome to yet another episode of
Thank you, Derek.
I'm going to agree with you on the role of the media in pushing for debate.
They're kind of slunk it in there, desperate oriented. Is that being desperate to aspire to greatness?
To say to us right now, everybody gets skeleton in their closet.
The duty of their office.
Who's supposed to determine whether
They are competent. You can't tell me all of
This guy is really guilt.
Of all the stuff that we have done, Mr. We are. This one tonight, you're on the opposite side.
What is the patriotic thing in you being like behind this?
30 seconds.
We don't simply audit for the heck of auditing. You audit, and where the evidence leads, you follow.
Liberian politics is a type of politics.
Good evening, and welcome back to the Liberia Radio and Television Network. It's a cold Thursday evening right here in Northeast Philadelphia, where we're doing this podcast from. The LRT, and tonight is proud to present episode 2 of season 5 of the Hard Zone. And if you're here frequently, you know that the Hard Zone is a talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political persuasions, and here we try to have conversations surrounding Liberia politics and that of the diaspora. As much as we can, we try to keep this show as educational as possible. And also, by way of disclaimer, the opinions and positions that will be offered on this program is that of the panelists that will be offering them and that of the network itself. Tonight, I'm playing host. My name is Derek Yale, and let me check in with my co-host, Mr. David Takbe. Mr. Takbe, welcome to another episode.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I didn't hear you first.
I said, Derek, thank you. It's always good to be on the Hard Zone.
Most definitely. And guys, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We're a local media institution right here in Northeast Philadelphia, and we also operate in Liberia as well. So do us a favor, please, and check us out on Facebook, and make sure you follow this network. Make sure you subscribe to our page, and also share this program, and have your friends and family do the same. From your end of the camera, that's what we expect of you. That's what we are asking of you to do. From this end, we are committed to bringing you quality content on each and every episode. And also, we try to bring you a balanced discussions, free from bias or any political alliance. So tonight, we have a very interesting program for you. And just to give you a heads up on what to expect, as always, we will bring you the current events from the diaspora and also from Liberia. And we will have our discussion tonight. We will look into a really big announcement made by the president of Liberia, George Manneh Weah, saying that he will not be contesting come 2029. So we will have our panelists on here shortly to give you their position on that, on what the way forward for CDC and what it shows about the president, George Manneh Weah, at such a young age, relatively to not be contesting come 2029. And also, we will have a pre-inauguration, or as I would like to call it, pre-inauguration discussion on the inauguration that is scheduled to happen this month on the 22nd. So we will have our panelists tell you what they're anticipating as far as the expectation of the new administration, how they will be able to fight corruption and how they will be able to deliver on the promises that were made during the campaign period. So we will have that discussion, and then we will bring you our icebreaker round, and then after that we will wrap up this episode and this show tonight. But before we get into anything, let me again encourage you. I can't say this enough. Let me encourage you to please share this program on your page so that your friends and family may be able to benefit, including yourself. With that being said, let me go over now to my co-host, Mr. David Tuckbert, for him to read us the current event from the current event folders in Liberia. Mr. Tuckbert.
Thank you, Derek. And I guess you have already heard that the First Lady Claudia, outgoing First Lady Claudia, today met with Khatum Baikai, who is the incoming First Lady. Both ladies met today at the executive mansion. And it's part of their meeting today was part of the transitional process. Claudia's outgoing First Lady met Khatum to brief her on her unfinished projects as First Lady. So they exchanged pleasantries and they had a fruitful discussion regarding the direction in which Liberia is going, informing Khatum that, look, I initiated some projects as First Lady, and some are completed, some are not. And the fact that you are coming in as First Lady, this is the plan. These are the projects that are completed. These are the projects that are not yet completed, so you can continue from that. And some of our projects are about building orphanages and caring for the disabled or disabled people, most especially those at the group of 77 and other homes of the disabled. So they exchange notes, and Khatum thanked the First Lady, the outgoing First Lady, for her work and for serving Liberians and Liberia during the time she was First Lady. So Monday, as we go to the inaugural ceremony on Monday, as Joseph Boakai takes over from President George Weah, they needed to meet. The first lady needed to meet. The outgoing is incoming to meet to finalize things. And so, secondly, the preparations leading to the inaugural ceremony are on the final layer. Final layer meaning that the organizers or those who are in charge of the beautification activities of the executive mansion and the Capitol building are intensified. Today, if you saw the interview I did with Mirabro, that was done on the grounds of the executive mansion. They were cleaning. Volunteers, a lot of volunteers were cleaning around the executive mansion as the new president's about to take over. This is the Capitol building too. In fact, the walls have been painted the entire year because, as you know, Derek, the coming inaugural ceremony will be held in the rotunda of the Capitol building. And so the rotunda of the Capitol building is well cleaned. The floors are washed. The walls are painted, and the decoration of that rotunda is continuing. And because there's where the inaugural ceremony of Joseph Boakai and Vice President-elect Jeremiah Kung will be held. As I speak to you, Liberia is very busy in the sense that, you see the preparations. If you get in the street, you know that a big program is coming on. Security, the cleaning of the street. Volunteers are always in the street on a daily basis every morning. And you remember I said that the last edition of the Hard Zone, I told you that Monrovia has now become one of the cleanest cities in Africa as a result of the daily clean up campaigns launched by the transitional team or committee. So all is set, and in fact, during that period of transition, in fact, beginning today or tomorrow, is the traffic will be redirected. Those coming from the RA South, we have to detour to another direction. So, in fact, today, the entire traffic, there was traffic everywhere. There are people in the country from different parts of the world, Liberians. They came from different parts of the world, the United States, Britain, and they're all parts of the world. They're here in Liberia. And there are other foreign nationals who are also coming to witness they come in the Monday's inaugural ceremony. And in fact, Linda Thomas Greenfield is coming to Liberia to represent President Joe Biden of the United States. So Linda Thomas Greenfield, I haven't heard. Perhaps I'm not fortunate or have not put a hand on the list of foreign dignitaries who are coming to Liberia. But what I do know is that Linda Thomas Greenfield is coming to Liberia to represent Joe Biden. I guess some African leaders who are invited will also be coming to grace the occasion. So the security is on course. In fact, today I saw the AFL marching band rehearsing ahead of Monday's inaugural ceremony, and that was a beautiful scene. But I was told not to do a live video of that, not to even take pictures during their rehearsal. So that's what I didn't take up. But that's what it is now. So the preparations towards the inaugural ceremony are concluding. I think they are just putting out the finishing touches both at the Capitol building and at the executive mansion. Joseph Walker will be taking over the executive mansion, whether he will be resident there or just be carrying on his official duties there, as other presidents have done, like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Madam Sirleaf was not resident at the executive mansion. In fact, she did not work there. She worked at the foreign ministry. This time around, Joseph Walker is coming, and I guess that he will work on the executive mansion from what I see from the cleanliness at the executive mansion. And so that's about that. And finally, Derek, the Unity Party shamelessly withdrew its case from the court. Quite recently, they ran to court. It took a flight to the Supreme Court, challenging the nationality of the newly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives. You remember, it was a highly contested event. Fanadi Kofa going against Fanadi Kofa from the opposition was going against Richard Namakun of the incoming government of the ruling Unity Party, and Fanadi Kofa beat Jeremiah Combs five votes difference. The Unity Party ran to court claiming that Fanadi Kofa has an American citizenship, so he was not qualified or eligible to serve as Speaker of the House of Representatives. So questions started emerging as to why the United Party did not raise these concerns when Fanadi Kofa was sitting in the House of Representatives or in the legislature as a legislator, though he is an American citizen. Why is the United Party running to the Temple of Justice now because Fanadi Kofa has been elected Speaker of the House, and it was Richard Namakun who did not win. So the Unity Party shamelessly went to court and shamelessly withdrew the case after coming to its senses, as its critics are saying it. And so that case is thrown out of, is withdrawn from the court. In fact, Richard Namakun has congratulated Fanadi Kofa, who is now the new Speaker of the House of Representatives. And so, Derek, that's about it. Those are the trending developments in Liberia.
Thank you very much, David. And David, as always, for your splendid reporting on the current events coming out of Liberia. And before I give the current event out of Liberia, out of the diaspora, encourage all of you to please share this program on your Facebook page and make sure that you're following the network and encourage your friends and family to do the same. I have just two developments from the current event photo in the diaspora. U.S. convicted criminal and President-elect Joseph Yama Barker, strong and ally, and the former CEO of Spoon Network, Stanton Witherspoon, this week received an extension on the date that he was supposed to report to prison from January 31st, 2024 to April 29th, 2024. And also turning our attention to the sports world, the African Cup of Nations is ongoing. And earlier today, we saw Equatorial Guinea defeating Guinea-Bissau. And also the Elephants of Ivory Coast, or La Cote d'Ivoire, were defeated by the Super Eagles of Nigeria 1-0. And also the Pharaohs of Egypt and the Ghana Black Stars went 2-2 for a draw. So that's it for the current event in the diaspora, and we would now like to introduce our panelists for this episode and have our current event discussions very briefly. Bishop Hagar, welcome to episode 2, season 5.
Thank you very much.
As you listen to our current event, your Fanatic Kofa won the speaker of the House of Representatives. And if you can, David, just go over that development again, and then we can briefly talk about that, and also the Unity Party withdrawing their case from court. So let's talk about the Fanatic Kofa being the speaker of the House of Representatives.
Yeah, Fanatic Kofa, I guess Bishop Hagar, he's a curious person. I guess he followed the developments in Liberia. The Unity Party put a candidate against Fanatic Kofa, and it was a tough race. Finally, Fanatic Kofa triumphed over Richard Namakun, and so Fanatic Kofa is the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Yeah. So what are your
Richard
thoughts
Namakun of the Unity Party? Yeah, Derek.
Yeah, no, Bishop Hagar. I was asking Bishop Hagar, what are your thoughts, Bishop Hagar, on Fanatic Kofa winning being the Speaker of the House, or coming from the opposition platform against the newly elected administration?
And you know, Derek, what is really hurting the Unity Party is that the Speaker is the chairperson in succession. The Speaker of the House, Fanatic Kofa, the chairperson in succession according to the Liberian Constitution. The President, the Vice President, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. So the Unity Party did not want an opposition person to take the speakership of the House of Representatives or the legislature. And they wanted the Unity Party man to be the Speaker of the House. But unfortunately for the Unity Party, Fanatic Kofa for the American Chair, and that is actually pinning Bishop Hagar and other Unity Parties.
Well, I'll allow Bishop Hagar to speak for himself. Bishop Hagar, give us your position on that.
Well, thank you very much. We congratulate Fanatic Kofa for his election as Speaker of the House of Representatives. For us, the democratic process play a course, and the representatives are independent people. Nobody can coerce them, nobody can force them to choose. They set their own rules, and they went to election, and they elected a speaker. The role of the speaker is to bring an agenda on the floor for discussion. He has a leverage on how our legislature functions. He has a very important role to play. We will have love because we have a lot of legislative agenda that will help President-elect Joseph Walker to fulfill what he promised to the Liberian people. We hope that as the opposition leadership took over the speakership, they will see good reason not to play politics with all the great legislative agenda of President Joseph Newman Boakai. We hope to work with them. It should be in the interest and benefit of the Liberian people. So we want to take this time. For me personally, I want to congratulate Mr. Kufa, Honorable Kufa. I believe he's a qualified man. He's been in the legislature for some time. He understands the dynamics of legislative politics, and we are going to work along. And when I say we, I believe the Unity Party always one party that believes in the democratic process in Liberia is the Unity Party. We are not going outside to violate the rights of the legislature. They have elected a leader, and we're going to work with them to make sure that Liberians benefit from the democratic culture that we have.
And Bishop Hager, let me ask you just one quick question, and then we'll take a break. Now, some prior to the elections for the speaker post, some argue that they think for the sake of balance of power, that the speaker should be, or the third person in succession to the president should be from the opposition bloc, and obviously supporters of Unity Party opposed to that. Now, my first question will be: do you think that the speaker should be, and as it is right now, should be from the opposition bloc for the sake of balance of power? And did you support Fanatic Kofa based on that belief?
Well, listen, there are a lot of school of thoughts. We believe as you are elected as president, the executive have to work with the legislature. There are certain things that the executive cannot do in Liberia. If you have an understanding or somebody understand the vision of the executive, it helps to speed up the presidential, executive, legislative agenda. We don't want anybody to just stampede our legislative agenda. That's why we're a little concerned. We would have loved to have someone from our bloc that will make things to be accelerated for the Liberian people. Listen, Liberians cannot wait any longer. We want deliverable. We want things to happen. However, if the reality is, in our politics, the last election was very divisive. We found out that the country was pluralized. There are a lot of different factions. So the reflection, what is happening today, that we have the speaker from the opposition bloc indicates where the country is. There's no one political party that have political power in Liberia right now. So we need to work together. That's what the Liberian people are telling us, and we welcome that. Thank you.
I'd like to repeat the question, but I'd like to keep it shorter. Do you believe in check and balance?
We believe in constructive check and balance.
Now I'm asking you, do you believe in check and balance? Do you think?
I just answered that question. We love check and balance. The Unity Party have always supported check and balance. But when we
I asked that question for a specific reason. On one hand, you believe in check and balance. On the other hand, you were opposing Fanatic Kofa because you want whatever agenda the executive have should go through the legislative branch smoothly. You didn't want any roadblock or whatever. That's why you were supporting someone from the new administration political institution. So again, I'm asking.
For example, let me just give you an illustration. We want to fight corruption massively. This past government or this outgoing government had their hand in the cookie jar. If we have someone who is ready and prepared, not part of the former government, that can work along with us to pass law, all the loopholes close the loophole will be better for us. But you have a speaker. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do. But if you have a speaker that will say, this thing will not go into it, he can store the bill, he can store everything. We can't do anything. The executive cannot interfere with how the legislature, how quick they can pass the law. That's why we wanted someone that will be understandable to really found that we really want to go farther. Want to go faster. That's all. I think that's it. Don't want checking patterns.
I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of democracy. So, if you have a plan, whether you're the executive branch or the legislative branch, you should be able to convince your constituents or the Liberian people that your plan seek their interest and not your political interest. I think that's where check and balance come in. If you have someone from the opposition black what will oppose your plan and tell you, convince the Liberian people that your plan is in their interest and not your political interest. I think that's where it coming. I feel like you should, every Liberian, not just you, should encourage that.
Yeah, you are 100% right, Mr. Moderator. However, the way the legislative politics works, you have committee in which committee is set up to debate these things and brought to the floor. If the speaker does not give the right, you cannot bring anything on the floor. So if the speaker want to play politics, he can stall your legislative agenda. That's what we're saying. We don't say no. We want checks and balance, but we want constructive check and balance. We don't want them to politicize things and stall the development agenda for the Liberian people.
Thank you very much, Bishop Haggard. And let's recognize the presence of Councilor Freeman. I know you just joined us, but we're talking briefly about Funanti Kopa being elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. But again, welcome to episode 2, season 5 of the House Zone.
Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year, gentlemen.
It's muted.
Oh, Happy New Year. This is the first appearance here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I think we've talked about this enough. I don't know if David had any more questions for Bishop Haggard. If not,
I think Bishop Haggard, it doesn't seem to trust the speakership of Funanti-Kopa. He has some fear that Funanti-Kopa may stall some of the election, the agenda of the Unity Party of the workers' government. And Bishop Haggard, you said Funanti-Kopa is likely a flexible person or an understandable person. Does he really have that quality?
Well, listen, I'm hoping that we are going to work along with him. I believe where we are at a critical juncture, and every Liberian, politicians, those who have state power, want to do things for the betterment of the country. Where the Liberian people have spoken, we have a nation divided and we must come together. We hope in the legislature, the speakership is in the hand of the opposition. We will be working with them to find common ground. That's what we always have been doing. And we will continue to do that for the betterment of the Liberian people. Thank you.
And so you know that it's obvious that there will be some disagreements. There will be somewhere where Funanti-Kopa may disagree with some of your policies as Speaker of the House.
He's an independent thinker. I don't expect him to agree with everything we're going to put on the table. We just hope that we can find common ground and good common ground where Liberian people will benefit. That's all. We called upon him to stop any unnecessary politicking and let work in the interest of the Liberian people.
Thank you, Bishop.
I hit the talking cycle, but earlier you said you didn't want that. You didn't want the opportunity to form common ground. You just wanted someone that was there to support whatever plan you guys have. Do you want to have a change of opinion on that?
No, I did not say that, Mr. Moderator. I did not say that. What I said was that I'm hoping. We have not yet started working with this man. We will love to have someone.
Right. That's why I want you to.
Political persuasion. We will hope to have somebody that understands the vision. Listen, we have a huge vision for Liberia. Watch my word. In the next 6 years, there will be a transformation at every level of the country, and we need a legislature to work with us, and it's going to happen.
I understand that. I'm just saying what you said earlier, and you just reiterated. You said that you wish you are hoped that you guys would have gotten someone that would be on the same page as you guys, so you won't have any roadblock if you're trying to pass a law or trying to propose a bill or whatever. Now you talk about you hope that the speaker you and the speaker will form a common ground. So now I'm saying that were you wishing that you never had the opportunity to form common ground before passing any law?
Listen, this man is a sedition. He came from the CDC. Do you expect me to be embracing immediately when we have had issues in terms of political differences? No. Well, I'm saying the legislature elected him. We accepted the result. We will work with that result. We would love to have our friend to be, but it never happened, and that's politics, and that's the election. So we're moving ahead. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's recognize the presence of Mrs. Grace Moore. Welcome to episode 2 of season 5 of the Horizon. And we are talking about the elections of Speaker Fanati Kofa to the House of Representatives.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if you would like to contribute towards on this conversation because I'm about to take a break. So if not, I can just take a break and then introduce the next
I
conversation.
just wanted to say something that you did not mention.
All right, Bishop Higa, go ahead.
Our dynamic rescue mother, Senator Yomri Kanga, was elected as a Senate pro tem. A dynamic, astute politician, a capable woman was elected, and we want to congratulate her. We know she's going to make sure that the senators will support our legislature agenda. She's going to make sure that all of the bills that go to the Senate, the confirmation, there will be due diligence. I'm so happy that Yomri Kanga is now the Senate pro tem. God bless you.
Is that because she's a United Party supporter?
She's qualified and competent, and she loves Liberia.
What about Fanati Kofa?
What? Fanati Kofa is a Liberian. He loves Liberia. I'm talking about
All
what I
right,
know.
all right.
So you must say what you want me to say.
Thank you.
Just stop doing that.
Thank you, Bishop Higa. Guys, if you're watching us, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network bringing you episode 2, season 5 of the Horizon. We'd like to take a break at this point. When we come back, we have Councilor Freeman here to talk on the legal issues with former Chief Justice, Councilor Gloria Musu Scott, and that of Jessica and Lucas case as well. But before we do that, let's take a break. When we come back, we will get into that conversation with Councilor Freeman.
But
And
you
also,
didn't allow me to say what I wanted to say. And I thought you said you were going to give me 2 seconds.
I apologize. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to congratulate Jay Fanati Kofa for his position in the Senate, and I am very happy because we would like.
Not in the Senate, but in the House of Representatives, Managua.
Yeah, in the House of Representatives. And thank you for the correction, Mr. Tate. And that's the beauty of democracy. And I like the inclusion and also the diversity that is going to be represented in the House. And we are looking forward to that. And also, congratulations to Madam Yomri Kanga. I'm not a feminist. So I like to see, I don't care what I see people saying, we have to support women. Yes, we have to support women, but women has to do the right. Women that we support doing the right things for us to support them. And that's my whole thing. I'm happy that a woman is there, but we are looking forward to her doing the work. As far as I'm concerned, she as a senator for Grand Bassa County, there is no tangibles there. I have not seen anything done properly in Grand Bassa for the many years that she stayed there. The hospital is still a flop. People are still in Buchanan in the rural areas. Ladies are dying from common STDs that could be handled, if they have the proper healthcare system in that area. So she being there, I will hope, but to tell you the truth, they said something I'm expecting her to do extra. No, because she did not do anything as Senator of Grand Bassa County. So that's
I have to comment on that. I would not leave it hanging, please.
It's not supposed to be, but let's hear. Let me hear from my co-host.
Too much raw politics.
Bishop Higa. Let me give David the opportunity to ask his question, and then I will take you.
Jerry, I just want to pull the legs of Grace about Dr. Moniba. Dr. Moniba made a lot of promises when he was aspiring for the president.
Let's not deviate that far. Dr. Moniba is not a fact.
Will
let's
he
take,
fulfill those promises or will not because he's not elected president?
let's
He
not
will
do
still fulfill his promises.
let's not do
That's
that.
why you protected Grace. After I
Listen,
have to pull her leg.
no, but wait, Mr. Moniba is not running for. He wasn't running for the president. Let's hear from Bishop Vega.
Yeah, listen, my sister Grace just got into politics. Listen to me. The senator work is not to fix the government hospital. The senator work is not to go do whatever she's thinking. What the senator was able to do, the record is there. She actually enacted bill to help for financial allocation to the budget to support our community colleges to help money coming to the hospital. Now, if you want to find out, go to the Grand Bassa Development Fund and see what they did with the money. Don't just put it on the senator. I think we should stop this. Even in America, senator don't go and do actual development. Chris, you know that. And you should stop this politics. Every time you come to Unity Party, you want to go to politics. I really appreciate people don't go to the
Why are you accusing me? I'm a Liberian, and I have the right to say what I see. You don't. I'm not a politician. You are right. I don't do politics. I will say the truth because I'm clean of politics, and I only speak on what I've seen so far. You might probably you don't know me, but I've been to Liberia so many times. I've been to Grand Bassa. I got recordings all over Grand Bassa, things that I did there and things that I saw there happening. And here in America, if you want to compare, which I don't want to compare because when it comes to Liberia in America, there is no comparison. But I would just say to you that even the senators here in Pennsylvania, the governor and the senator, they have things that they do, that they have bills that they put out there, and they make sure these things are carried on for the bill that they assign and the money that were allocated. They make sure the work is done. Yombi Kanga has never done any of that. Let's just be fair to like this. Now we are happy that she's a female and she's in that position, but as far as her track record is poor. She has not. There is no tangible ever shown that she ever did anything great for Grand Bassa. We just being fair, but because Liberians are all tribalists, that's the reason why you see Grand Bassa people will always go and vote for her, and they like the popularity when they hear your name over and over. And what people are not ready, they are not taught well, so they go and just vote for the person because they're popular, maybe their household name. But we pray because we want the UP government to succeed. When they succeed, like Liberia succeeds. So we are hoping that these people that are put in place will be able to do the right thing. But as far as track record, there is nothing there, brother man, and you know that.
Thank you very much.
We're not going to make that debate. We're not going to make that debate. But listen, Liberian voters, the electors are very, very sophisticated. People at the village level will tell you why they voted for this person. The assumption that the people just voted because her name is not true. People voted because of their interest. And everywhere in the world, people vote on their interest. Even in America, that interest will look for. The people voted on their interest. That's it. I want you to know.
But why there is always errors and why are Liberians always regretful after they vote? It's always the case. Once they vote and the person come into play, and then after some few months or a few years, and you see them regretting, we regret that we voted this person, they did not do this, they did not do that. It's always a try and error with Liberia when it comes to voting. And that's the mistake. That's the reason why
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Hagan, and thank you guys for your contribution on this current event discussion. But for now, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll join Councilor Freeman so we can talk about the case with former Chief Justice Councilor Gloria Musu-Scott, and also the case with Lucas Jonas versus Jessica Lloyd. So let's take a break for now. We'll talk to you after the break.
Many Liberians are members of social clubs, 501c NGOs, and school alumni. Many Liberians are trying to open their own 501c NGOs, home care agencies, and social clubs. Does your organization have a professional website? Does your web platform have the right wording and content to attract grants? Hopefully you're not running your organization only through social media. There's a more professional route. You need an online space where you can craft a positive message about your organization, making your home health agency more credible, which will increase your chances to receive grants. We'll build you a responsive platform for 501c organizations, healthcare agencies, and other types of organizations. We'll provide you with full website maintenance, membership sign-in, private charts, Facebook and WhatsApp integration, live video feed for all your meetings and special occasions, a dashboard for members to see all the activities, and email and text auto reminders for meetings. We'll build with donors and 501cs in mind, and will help you solicit grants and automatic membership due collections. Building you this amazing platform will only be a membership fee of $19 a month. Call or email us now. Let's upgrade your website. Home health agencies and small businesses, you owe it to your company to project the best image possible, and we can make it happen. Visit www.tiamit.com or call 215-966-8679. Ask for Tom.
Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for joining us here on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We're bringing to you live tonight, episode 2 of season 5 of The Horizon. I have my team of panelists here with me, and Bishop Hager, Councillor Freeman, and Mrs. Grace Goa. And also I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. David Takwe. Now let's join Councillor Freeman. We would like to talk briefly about the case with Lucas Richard and Jessica Lloyd, and then after that, we will talk about the case with the former justice, Victoria Bush. But let's start with updates on the case with Lucas Richard and Jessica Lloyd. Councillor Freeman.
Do you have any specific questions for me as far as Lucas' case is concerned? Because, I mean, of course, maybe David might be in a good position to actually do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's start with David on that.
Derek.
Yeah, Derek.
Can you hear me?
Derek.
Yes. Yeah, David, go ahead.
Yes, the last time I told Mr. Freeman, because he made an inquiry, wanted to know the progress of the case, and I informed him that, in fact, Lucas is not in prison. He was released on bail and turned over to a doctor, a nice doctor, but his lawyer, who I understand has to all on a daily basis accompany him to court. So it's at a level the case is now. Lucas is out of prison. He's released on bail and is in the custody lawyer who has to carry him to court on a daily basis. There's nothing new at first so far, but the matter still remains in court as far as I do know.
So as it is right now, he's not in jail.
He's not in jail. If he were in jail at the time I saw him, he would have been in the green it's not green, but orange overall suit, and with handcuffs and with security people behind him. But the day I saw him, he was all in smiles, walking with his lawyer. In fact, I didn't know him. It's one of my fellow journalists who was covering the course. So, Mr. David, that's the Lucas who killed the lady, who almost killed the lady. That's the Lucas guy then, and that's how I saw him, and walking with his lawyer that day. So that means that although he's not 100% free, but he's going about, walking around freely, but he stay being watched by the court, and he's in the custody of the lawyer who has to report him to the court on a daily basis as depending on the schedule of the court.
Okay, can I come in, Derek? I have a little bit of information for the lawyer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So far, I heard on Liberian News Agency there was an interview done with Director Kwame Weeks and the girl and her mother concerning Lucas, whereabout, and so far how the case is, right now where it is. And then the mother said that, of course, Lucas is free from prison, as Mr. Tagwe said. He's going out his daily work, doing his life, living his life, and he is reporting to court and to whatsoever hearing they have. The lady too, she had to leave her house. She had to relocate because they were afraid for their lives. They're being threatened a lot, so they had to go to a secure place that nobody knows that where they are living. And also, she was offered $20,000 to withdraw the case, and she and her daughter go their separate ways and let Lucas go his separate way, and she refused to accept the money because she wants justice. That's what I heard about the case so far.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Goa. And if no one else had anything to add to that, we just wanted to raise awareness to that case because we will not allow it to like that and without justice being served. That's why I wanted to bring it to our audience just to get updates on that. With that being said, we'll move on to the case with Councilor Gloria Moses Clouds. I think just
I would like to say more. I was giving Mr. Fremont a chance to come in, but I would like to say more because we do advocate for cases. I work along with Liberian Advocacy Network International. So I wanted to say more. I was just giving you update on what I heard.
Okay.
I could say more if you want me to say more. If you guys are moving on, I can say more.
Yes, go right ahead. And then
So for me, I would actually say that, watching the case from afar, we are very disappointed in the justice system of Liberia because those kind of cases, the magnitude of the case, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think at this point in time that Lucas should have been actually set free, to show up at court when they call him to come in. So and then listening to Director Weeks' interview with the parent and the girl, that they had no clue that he was even going to be released. It was not discussed with them. I think that was unfair to them. The whole case, the way it's going is bad. We did want to come in when this thing happened, but too many people, Liberians, when something happened, everybody just run to and they make noise. But the real nitty-gritty of the work, they don't know how to do it. Most all the groups around here, they say, the African just talk and yell on Facebook. But when it comes to do the background work, they don't know how to do it. So that's why this one case is left in shambles. It saddened me because the young lady could have gotten help to even come here to the States and do some medical checkup, because what happened to her was grave. We tried to contact the missionaries network here in the United States. We spoke to some missionaries and they were giving us information for us to try to help this girl, but too many here was in the park, too many people, so we had to withdraw a little bit and watch what they were going to do before we get involved in it. But the way we were trying to get involved in it was going to make it, or put it more out there so the girl could get more help, but we couldn't do it. So we spoke with Director Weeks concerning it, and he said, he really wanted us to come in, but too many players are in the past, so we cannot come in at this time. But what happened to that girl is so sad. And as a woman, I'm actually disappointed in her mother. I know people are saying, "Oh, people blaming the girl mind, this and that," but it's just so sad that a woman that live in the city, if this woman came from the rural interior part of Liberia, I could consider that a little bit. But a woman live in the city by herself, that she goes to church and she's and she knows what she's doing. She's a citizen, and live her life rightfully in the country. She's married, have her kids. She's sending on a Bible school mission to go and learn. And then a man from the states who is a missionary come to you and tell you, say that his wife had agreed for your daughter to be his second wife, and you never even met his wife in the first place. But even the culture, the way our country, the way we live in our country, we know that missionaries, everybody know it. It's not like anything that they don't marry two wives. Christianity does not allow that. The doctrine is not carried on that way, a man to a wife. So right there, and your daughter went to a Bible school, you should know that, oh, this thing doesn't sound right. I have to make sure and call the church people, or even if I don't see the man wife, go to the place where he's working, call the people and say, this is what happening. This man said he want to take on my daughter as a second wife. Her daughter is very young. So, I want to know what's going on. Maybe it's her tradition to marry, men can marry two women, but as a Christian, we don't do that. So it's just confusing. And most time I know the kids are happy and people say, oh, you can't blame her. She said people blaming her and she crying. But sometimes we have to tell people the truth. What went on was totally wrong. That young girl was not supposed to be even allowed to have dated that man. And she's very lucky that the man did not even bring her daughter to America, because you never know what would have happened. We did some research on Lucas. Lucas lived in Nigeria, and almost a situation like this. He has a record in Nigeria that he did something there. So this is not even his first offense. And he also lived in America, and there was a problem in his church in America that a lady got killed, and nobody know how she died. And she died because she was murdered. So all those little information, we hope that the lawyer could have gotten all that information to take it to the court for them to be able to see, to hold this man accountable, and also request, because they have the right to, the lawyer have the right to contact the missionary both here in the States, to contact them for this girl to have, something going on as far as medical, because she was cut from the throat. Nobody know how deep it is, how she was cut. Nobody know whether it will affect her tomorrow. She need thorough examination. So I just wanted to come in with those information.
Mr. Freeman, Councillor Freeman, the issue of bill, when does it come about? I do know that murder is not a billable case. Attempted murder, why is it a billable case? And in such a case that Lucas has been let out of the prison, how sure are the lawyers that Lucas will remain in the country or may flee the country? Is it safe for such a bill? Is that kind of bill okay?
And just before you answer, Mr.
I think we have to understand. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I think Derek wants to come in, so maybe add up.
I just want to say, if you can address the question on the screen, just I'll encourage you to do so. Councillor Freeman, do you see the question on the screen?
I see the question. Now, the issue of bill is a statutory issue. So, in other words, like, your panelist said that murder is an attempted murder. So it's not an actual murder. He attempted to commit the act of murder. That offense is in fact a billable offense. So as a matter of law, Lucas could very well be billed for that, right? But there's another problem though. There's a problem with that picture. And here's the problem. Whenever a court considers issuing bill, there are a number of factors the court considers. For example, the person standing in society, the person in contact within the community, whether that person is a flat risk whether that person is a danger to the community. Now, I understand in the case of Liberia, it's a statutory issue. In other words, the statute says this offense is billable, that offense is not billable. But for example, in the US, oftentimes you ask for a bill and the judge said, well, you know, is this person a danger to the society? Now, as a lawyer, you're arguing, Your Honor, the person is not a danger to society. He's married, he has his family here. He's an outstanding member of the community. In the case of Lucas, I would not have, had I been the judge, I would not have given him a bill because Lucas committed a very atrocious crime. That's attempted murder. That's a serious offense. In other words, he is in fact a danger to the community, right? Not only is he a danger to the community, he's also a flight risk. In other words, Lucas is a foreign national. He can get on the plane if you give him a chance, he can get on the plane and he can leave the country. Even if he doesn't come straight to the US, he can go to any other country. He has the means, he has the ability, he may in fact have the motive to leave the country to basically abscond justice. So I'm really concerned that bill was issued to Lucas for these reasons. It's flight risk, a very serious crime. And now Ms. Gray mentioned something that I think goes to this point. And that is Jessica is not being offered money. Now keep in mind, and this is a criminal matter. This is not a matter of the civil. This is a civil case where you can compensate the victim. This is not an auto accident. You can compensate the victim and just walk away. This is a criminal matter. In other words, this is a matter involving the state, involving the Republic of Liberia. It's a crime against Liberia, right? An attempted murder. It's not an issue of whether you can pay off the victim. That's called you're trying to tamper with the victim. That in of itself is also a crime. So I'm interested in knowing who is trying to bribe this girl to drop the charges, because that in of itself is an obstruction of justice. And obstruction of justice is a crime. So someone trying to pay her off $20,000 to drop the charges, that is a problem. And Lucas being out is part of that problem, because in other words, I think he may be facilitating whatever money they're offering this girl to drop the charges. That is a problem. Lucas should not be out. He's a danger to the community. He's also a flight risk.
Yeah, Councillor, you did say that Lucas does not deserve the bill. Is that what the law says? Well, and besides that, my second question is, in such a case, under the law, are there measures, precautionary measures, to ensure that such a person under such circumstances doesn't escape? I'm asking you the question for the background that there's so many people we've heard who fled justice after they were arrested to be prosecuted. The next day, somebody said the person fled the country. For example, those who brought in the $1 million drugs, all of a sudden they disappeared. It was also in a case of a lady who was the managing director of the ROI. She did something, as soon as she fled. So, yeah. So what is there something in the law or precautionary measures that are instituted to keep an eye on such a person not to flee the country or flee justice?
Now, let me address the first piece of your question, whether or not it is in fact the law. Like I said, in the case of Liberia, the issue of bill is a statutory issue. In other words, the legislature passed a law and recognized certain offenses that are billable offenses. Some offenses are not billable. So that's a statutory issue. Now, having said that, lawyers and judges do not think outside a vacuum. You have to consider the totality of the circumstances. Well, in other words, there has to be a common sense approach here. So even though, as a matter of law, he may be entitled to bail, you have to consider the prevailing circumstances. In this particular instance, this man is a foreign national. This man has a passport that he can leave the country anytime. This man committed a very dangerous act, so therefore he's a danger to the community. Okay. Now there are ways to minimize his chances of leaving. So, for example, you can confiscate his passport. In this case, the court may have already confiscated his passport to ensure that he does not flee the country. Notwithstanding, there is still a second piece that is very concerning, and that is the piece that he is a danger to the community. Someone who actually attempted to commit murder in such a very atrocious way is in fact a danger to the community. And the court should have taken that into consideration before granting him bail.
And the sad, can I come in? The sad thing is that
now, let me 1 second before I do some before you
go ahead, Councilor Freeman.
Ms. Gray, let me just stop pause that a little bit. Let me analogize that with another case that we're not really talking about. So, for example, the Stanton Witherspoon case, which I don't want to go into the substance of the case, but in Mr. Witherspoon case, even though he was convicted, now keep in mind he was convicted a few months ago. However, because in fact his lawyer in a recent motion for extension, his lawyer argued that he is not a danger to the community, so therefore the court should extend his time. The reason Mr. Witherspoon continued to roam around freely, okay, is because the court recognized that Mr. Witherspoon did not commit a dangerous crime, so therefore he's not a danger to the community. There are some crimes when you commit it, it is incumbent on the courts, okay, on the government, to put you away because you are a danger to the community. In the case of Mr. Lucas, even though he has not been convicted, he should not have been set free on bail because he actually poses a danger to the community. You see the difference?
So
one crime, as bad as it may be, he's not a danger to the community. He can stay here until he goes to bring himself in.
So, Councilor, are you suggesting that the lawyer erred to have given Lucas that bill? Did he err to have given Lucas a bill?
Well, I think the judge. Look, I'm not going to second guess the judge. What I'm saying is that when it comes to the issues of law, you just don't simply look at the black letter law. The black letter law is a guiding post. However, you have to look, good judges, good jurists have to look at the totality of the circumstances, right? He's not been convicted, I get it. But this man attempted to commit a very serious crime, and he should not be among the people until he has his time in court for trial.
Let me give you 1 minute, Mr. Scott, and then I'll ask on last question. Bishop Hager, if you want to contribute, I'll give you the opportunity to do that. Mr. Scott.
And I wanted to also put out here to the public that the sad thing about the whole thing is that Mrs. Cynthia Lord, who is the mother of Jessica, her lawyers came to her and was asking her to sign a document for the $20,000 to allow her to abandon the case so Mr. Lucas can go free. And she refused. So his lawyer met her lawyers and her lawyers came to her. And when she refused, she said that they got so mad with her that $20,000 is not a small money in Liberia right now. Why she even refusing the money? And she's not taking it to better her life. You know, and that's the injustice of what goes on in Liberia. And then so because of that, her lawyers then start not to abandon her. They don't want to be bothered with her case. They don't want to even be bothered with she and her daughter anymore. She doesn't have that kind of money to just be bringing different lawyers in. So these are the things that are going on in Liberia with these kind of major cases that happen that destroy the core of our society. And the government sit there and whosoever in authority, the people who's responsible to bring justice, they just sit there and play with these things. And that's why, you know, there is no law and order in the country. Because if there was real law and order in the country, Lucas Richards would be in prison right now.
Thank you. Bishop Hager, do you want to add anything to this conversation?
What I would just hope that with the kind of information we're hearing tonight, the right thing is done. Justice is meted up to this God, and all those who commit crime need to have respect for our judicial system. And we hope that our our people can benefit from some of the expertise and competence of qualified people in the diaspora to help our judicial system to move forward. Liberia is such a vulnerable place. I'm telling you, where I mean, the people themselves don't expect justice. You'll be very, very surprised. I'm in support with what Mrs. Grace is saying. Well, you will be surprised right now that family members of this lady will come to her and say, listen, thank God your daughter and I, we're hungry, we don't get no food to eat, better take that money so we can live. The poverty is so entrenched in the country that people, because of that, they don't expect justice. They expect to just maintain the state of code. We call on the justice, attempt the justice, the judges, and all those who dispense justice in Liberia to please go beyond just the normal way and look for. Let's set a standard for justice in Liberia.
Thank you. And Councillor Freeman,
Jared, may I make a quick point, okay?
yeah, coming back to you, I'm coming for a question, then you can just address my question real quick. Is that okay? Yes. I want to piggyback off two things Mr. Goa said. And correct me if first, you said that Lucas was released from prison or jail without the knowledge of Jessica and her family. So that would be my first question to you, Councilor Freeman. Is that something? Is that like a normal practice where the victim don't get informed that that whoever committed the crime is being released on bail from prison and without their knowledge? Is that like a normal practice? And also, in the case that the lawyer were able to convince Jessica and her family to accept that money, is there anything concerned Liberian can do to make sure that justice is served and that this criminal act just don't get swept away and Lucas go free? Is there anything or anyone that can do anything about that? Councilor Freeman.
So, with respect to the issue of bail, here's what I want to say. Had this been someone other than who Lucas is, in other words, this American, Caucasian American, more likely than not, he would not have been granted bail, even though the statute allows for bail. Look, everyone is aware that what Lucas attempted to do, or what he actually did, is a very grave crime. I highly doubt that had it been someone else, another Liberian, indigenous Liberian, more likely than not, the court will not have granted bail. That's the first thing. So therefore, Lucas should not have been given bail because he's a dangerous person to the society. He's a flight risk. As I said, they may have already taken his passport, but that does not negate the fact that he's still a very dangerous person to the community. Secondly, with respect to the issue of the money, what I will hope, and what I have always hoped, is by now, and it's very disheartening that a lot of the stakeholders in the country, politicians, even her representative, I'm not sure who this young lady representative is or who her senator is. Now, one of these people have come out publicly to actually condemn what this man did and call the government to hold him accountable. Every well-meaning Liberian, particularly those in positions of authority, should be ensuring that the Liberian government actually prosecute Lucas and hold him accountable, because we need to set a really serious precedent. Now, the one piece I wanted to address before your question is regarding the money. Look, the issue of what Lucas did is a criminal offense. It's nothing for, the family and the lawyer should be negotiating with his lawyer. The state is the one responsible to prosecute him for his crime. But let me say this. After Lucas has been prosecuted and hopefully convicted of his crime, the family can still pursue civil action against him for personal injury. What he did to this girl has injured her. The fact that he is convicted in a criminal court does not preclude the family from going to court and convicting for his crime and sending him to prison, and you can still pursue civil action against him. We see it all the time. Someone commits a crime, the person gets convicted criminally, and then you go after that person in civil court to get monetary compensation. I will hope the family and the lawyers can pursue that path instead of actually obstructing justice and asking this woman to drop the charges. What I would have done had I been the Minister of Justice in Liberia anyone who is not, imploring this young lady to drop the charges is actually obstructing justice, is interfering with the justice system. I would have had that person arrested and prosecuted for obstruction of justice.
Okay, can I come in and ask him one question? Two questions.
Go ahead.
Okay, and Councilor Fremont, and that's the sad thing with the whole system. Even as of today, we have not heard Gender Ministry make any statement on this. All the women that are in power, that that coming into power, they all just focus on the whole inauguration and what the position they're getting. Nobody has stood up with this girl to say, you know what, this is wrong, and we stand. Make a statement, say something, so the case can come up, because the magnitude of your position will help the case come up with people. Some of the missionaries running the YWAM mission allegedly got information concerning the relationship between Richard and Jessica. And they are saying right now that she was denied graduation because she was at the point to graduate from the school. But since that thing happened, they deny her for graduation. So now she's being punished for what happened to her. And you cannot tell us that when she was on that mission, or the missionaries never noticed something between Jessica and that man. They did. But now with everything that came up, she's being punished, and the victim is always victimized. And no politician, no woman in power, not the general ministry, nobody had come out to even stand on the side of this girl and her mother and speak for her. And that's the saddening thing about the whole thing. But I just want to ask Mr. Fremont, is it right for them to deny her graduation by law because she went to the school she attended, she got all her credits, she was about to graduate when this thing happened? She should have graduated.
I don't know the facts pertaining to her graduation situation. I can't really speak to that. But if she met the requirements for graduation, I don't see why she shouldn't be allowed to graduate.
She did meet the requirements because she already had all the information sent to her that she was supposed to graduate. And then when this thing happened, they withdraw her graduation. And that's the sad thing. I just wanted to know whether it was. According to the law, I know it's wrong for them to do that, but like real law is very funny.
That would be completely wrong.
Okay.
They are penalizing her. They are penalizing her, and that's retributive, and I think that's very wrong.
Thank you guys very much for your contribution. Councilor Fremont, I know we've exhausted all of the time on this case alone. I don't know if you want to just briefly talk about the case with former Chief Justice, or do you want to do that? You want to move on?
The Musa Scott case, Justice Scott's case.
Yes.
Look, David must probably know a lot more about that case than I do. We all heard that Justice Scott and two of her co-defendants were found guilty and perhaps sentenced to life imprisonment. What I'm concerned about, though, is I understand that David, you wanted to say something? What I do understand is that during the trial, the court. Okay.
Great. I think that Ms. Wa wants to say something.
David, did you say something?
No, I wasn't saying anything. I just said there was a noise, so I wasn't hearing Councilor Fremont.
Yeah. Okay, Councilor. What I do know is that her lawyers or their lawyers have taken exception of the final ruling. And the thing is that as far as Gloria Scott and her lawyers are concerned, she is a victim who has been victimized. Grace says something like that. That Gloria Scott, who is the victim, or the family that is the victim, has been victimized. And so her lawyers have taken an exception. I understand they go into the higher court to seek redress. And so there, as far as I do know, the way the case is, it says something else has happened. But that's what I do know. They're taking an appeal. I think that's why you lawyers say, oh, under the law, that what people say. I think she's taking an appeal. Am I correct? Is that how to say it?
Yes.
Councillor, they've taken an appeal. Yeah, our lawyers have taken an appeal and said
You're referring
that
to Justice
ruling.
Scott's case, Mrs. Scott?
Yeah, Justice Scott's case. Yeah, Moses Scott's case. Our lawyers have taken flight to. I think they've taken an appeal that
Now,
that
what I do,
decision taken that. Correct. Yeah,
so
go ahead.
here's
Councillor.
what I know about the case. I understand that during the trial, the jury was sequestered. I understand that during the trial, the jury was sequestered. There is a reason why judges sequestered the jury. And that's because the court wants to minimize the public interference with the process. I do understand that during the sequester of the jury, the Solicitor General actually paid a visit to the location where the jury was sequestered. And when her lawyer raised the issue, the court may have penalized him or, admonished him for that. But that's not sufficient. When the jury is sequestered and a lawyer or a party interfere with that process, that's a ground for mistrial. The judge should have immediately declared a mistrial. The second reason I think a mistrial should have been declared, my understanding is at least two of the jurors did not vote to convict. And for criminal cases, you need a unanimous verdict to convict. So in the absence of a unanimous verdict, the court should have also declared a mistrial. Now, however, the court then sentences her, and her lawyer has now filed a writ of certiorari, I believe, with the Liberian Supreme Court to review the error of the judge. I think the judge is in error because the prosecutor interfered when he visited the jurors at their location, and two jurors did not vote to acquit. Those are all bases for a mistrial. I'm hoping that the Supreme Court, and more likely than not, is going to overturn the trial judge's decision and then order a new trial.
Okay, I wanted to ask a question. I want to ask a question. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on the meaning of sequester for our audience? I really, what are the meaning for?
The process of sequester is when it's during active trial. Okay, so when the jury is sequestered, usually we see that in very high-profile cases, oftentimes. So what that basically means is the court orders the jury not to return to their homes, right? The court said, well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, given the high-profile nature of this case or the sensitivity attached to this case, you are hereby sequestered. In other words, you will not be allowed to return to your homes. Then they provide a place for the jury to actually be for the remainder of the trial. The jury is not allowed to listen to the news. The jury is not allowed to read the newspaper. The jury is not allowed to interact with members of the public. All of that is intended so that you can shield the jury from outside interferences or outside influences. Now, given the high profile of this case is a very high profile case. We are talking about a former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. That makes the case very politicized and high profile. Because of that, the court decided to sequester the jury. That meant that nobody, definitely not the state prosecutor, should be visiting the jury. Now, for the state prosecutor to actually visit the jury at the site of being where they're sequestered, I mean, it sends the wrong message. And that is the reason why the court should have declared a mistrial and retried Ms. Scott and her co-defendants.
Thank you.
And Councillor, there's another thing about the DNA. I heard something about DNA that the fingerprints were those of a male and not a female. It's one of the issues that the councillor's lawyers are raising. That I guess you must have heard about that too. There was a DNA result that came out and said it was a male fingerprint and not a female fingerprint, suggesting that it was a male that did the murder and not a female.
David, oftentimes in these kinds of cases, there are expert witnesses from both sides of the aisle, and they bring their expertise. And one expert witness is saying something, another one is saying another thing. Ultimately, when you are confronted with a situation where there are divergent views on the expert witnesses, the court extends certain weight to the various evidence, the various witnesses. In this case, perhaps the court is extending more weight, more credibility to the state witness than Mr. Scott witnesses or witness for that matter. So I understand there was an issue with the DNA going on there, but the court is the trier of law, the jury is the trier of fact. They made a determination that more weight should be given to the state witness versus Mr. Scott witness. It happens there in every trial.
Prima and all of you panelists for.
Perhaps my other question is, Councillor. Okay. My other question, Councillor, is jurors. How are they selected? How are jurors selected? Do they apply or people go around looking for them? How are jurors selected, and what basis? What benchmark should they meet before they become jurors?
There, for example, I live in the U.S. in the state of Maryland. My dad, who used to be a practicing lawyer in Liberia, I understand that there are professional jurors in Liberia where they have members of the jury, and when the time kind of just call them and they go and preside over a case. But in terms of the U.S., there is a system in place where they can just randomly choose you to be a member of the jury. I mean, fortunately for me, I've never been called as a juror. Perhaps I would not be choosing because I'm a lawyer, but they can call anybody to be a jury. I understand even former President Barack Obama was once called in the state of Illinois to be a juror. It's done randomly. And what happens is they call a several number of people to come to the court, because I've been part of jury selection before on a number of occasions in court. They call several people to come to court, and the lawyers get to decide who they want to be on the jury, because by the time the jury comes or is in panel, we have the entire background of the jury. And you can actually take out a jury for cause. You can take out you have several number of causes you can take out a jury for. I'm not sure that happens in Liberia, where they can actually, lawyers can decide, I want this jury, I don't want that jury. I'm going to strike this jury for cause. We're going to choose that one. This jury has a bias. This jury made a crime. I want the person stricken out. So there's a process, at least in this country. Now, in the case of Liberia, more likely than not, they just have what you may call professional jurors, where when that time comes, they just go and select from the pool. I'm not sure that the lawyers actually play any role in the process of selecting the jury in Liberia. But in this country, certainly we do. The lawyers go through a whole process that could last almost 2 hours selecting the jury. Sometimes the lawyers and the jury actually approach the bench on the street. Jury has committed this act before. This jury is a former inmate, a former felon, things of that nature. So there's several ways you can actually get the jury out. I'm not sure that's the process in Liberia.
Yeah, I just wanted to inject very quickly. It's just so scary that they have certain people, professional, to be professional jurors in Liberia, and that's the reason why most of these cases are not fair. I was chosen before to be a juror when I was living in New Jersey. They picked me for a murder profile case. So, and then they send you a letter and they will just tell you the information, how were you supposed to appear, what documentation they need from you, take it in there, and then they go and check the background, and then they choose the group of people to go in or to be the juror for the case. And it's so beautiful the way they do it, because the case I was a juror on, I never even knew this person, never saw them in my life, and there was no need for me to be biased. I just had to go and listen to the case, and then decide, make my decision with the rest of the jurors. So the way they choose jurors in Liberia is no case would be really fairly persecuted in that country because of the way they go about, especially cases that have to do with the jurors, giving the verdict on these cases.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Goat, and thank you, Councillor Freeman, for sharing your legal knowledge with us on this discussion. Again, guys, on the 22nd of January this year, the Liberia will be inaugurating her 25th president and vice president in person of Ambassador Joseph Yemabwaka and Jeremiah Kong, respectively. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have our pre-inauguration discussions on what you guys are anticipating and what is your expectation of the new administration. But before we do that, let's take a very brief break. And Councillor Freeman, you're free to stay if you want. But again, if you choose to leave, thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm going to excuse myself. Thank you.
Good evening, guys. Wherever you're watching us from, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. Thank you again for joining us or staying with us this far on the show. This is the Hard Zone episode 2, season 5. And we've been having an interesting conversation. We had Councillor Freeman here to give us his expert knowledge on the case involving Jessica Lloyd. Jessica and Lucas Lloyd. And also the case with former Chief Justice Councillor Gloria Musu Scout. But for now, it's time for us to talk about have our pre-inauguration discussion. As you know, next week, Monday, the 22nd of January, 2024, Liberia will be inaugurating her 25th president, Ambassador Joseph Yemabwaka, and Vice President Jeremiah Kong. Now, so many questions to be asked. What are you guys anticipating? Is the question I would like to start with. But as always, I would like to give my co-host the opportunity to set the premise for this conversation, and we can go ahead and start having that. Mr. Tagbe.
Yeah, Derek. What I do know is that expectations are high. There are many Liberians, most especially those from the United Party's background, cannot wait to see Joseph Walker and Jeremiah Kong taking office. As far as Liberian concerned, it will be a new dispensation, the transition of power from the CDC to the United Party. There are people who saying that the victory of the United Party and Joseph Walker has brought a lot of relief to Liberians. Said Joria was almost like a burden on the shoulders of many Liberians. Though the CDC people are disagreeing that Joshua was one of the best presidents, in fact, so far the best president since 1847. But there's another thing about people managing their expectation, as was said by one of the officials of the United Party, that they should not expect all to be bread and butter. People should manage their expectation. This is why, in fact, critics are disagreeing with the United Party. They came in and they said they would have made it better, they would have done everything better. Why are they telling people to manage their expectations? But as far as I'm concerned, everything is on course. They did the preparations are ongoing, and in fact, they just put it on the finishing touches. And so Liberians are enthusiastic. They are hopeful. They are optimistic that the Bwaka government, if it takes power, things will change, things will get better. So We are all waiting to see what happens. But the media, on the side of the media, many of us are journalists or from independent media houses. We're disappointed. Disappointed because of uh, the plan they have for the coverage of the event, that historic event, is not favoring a majority of the media. Uh, they say that look, the event will be covered by ERBC and Equus Radio alone, and the other media houses relay from them. A lot of media houses or media owners are disappointed with such a decision. We are all thought that it would have been open, just accredit us and let every media house independently cover it. But they are instructing that the media houses relay from only airports, radio, and ELDC, and so we are disappointed, and that's what I want to say.
Thank you very much, David. And of course, I would like to start with you, Bishop Hagan. The day you have waited for the past 6 years since President Weah took office is almost here. Even better, he's going to be replaced by the guy you campaigned brutally for during the campaign period. Now, I'd like to put you on the spot here. The guy you campaigned for won the elections. He's being inaugurated in just a couple of days. Why are you not in Liberia? Before I even ask you on what you're anticipating, why are you not there for this inauguration? I know you're excited. I know you finally got what you want for President Weah to go, to finally leave this country alone, like you've said on so many occasions. So let me just start the conversation with you by saying, why are you not there for the inauguration?
Thank you very much. First, I'm not there, but I'm there with other people representing us. We are a group of people who have collective effort. So my friend and brother Adatus Addis is representing us adequately there. Uh, Other people that I don't want to name here. Some people are leaving tonight from our church that will be in Liberia for the inauguration. So we are there. I'm not there physically.
You're there in spirit, I assume.
We are there in spirit. Yeah, if you want to say
Thank
that.
you. What are you anticipating though? And before you actually answer that, I want you to respond to what David said about the decision to have just two media institutions to cover the inauguration. If you can briefly respond to that, and then talk to us on what you're anticipating, because I'm very sure that you believe in the freedom of the press, and I just quickly address what David said.
Listen, David is aware, and Liberians need to understand. For a very long time, politicians have been marginalizing the state broadcast system, the ELBC. We are advocate for freedom of press, and we want everyone to operate in a clean environment of press freedom. However, when it comes to very important ceremony or occasion, we have to give all of the support to the National Broadcasting System. ELBC, David, when you were born, growing up, when it comes to presidential matter, when it comes to national issue, was ELBC that all of the new agencies used to relay from. So this time, we're not going to allow private entity to siphon the role of the ELBC. We're going to support ELBC. We're going to make sure that ELBC perform its statutory responsibility. So we are back to make things work the way it's supposed to be working. We're on a plateau of different television stations. They can't even respect the national broadcasting system. Those days are over. ELBC will play a referee role in the new government. Thank you.
And before I come to you, Mr. Goa, you haven't answered my question on what are you anticipating for the inauguration. But it's interesting you say that. In my opinion, I feel like you contradicted yourself. On one hand, you're saying that you advocate for press freedom. On the other hand, you're saying, yeah, we do that, but until it's a very important event, then we have to respect ELBC, and private entity will submit to ELBC. So how can you respect? How can you respect?
Mr. Yele,
Go ahead.
Let me just tell you, if David going to tell you, we have over 100 radio stations right now in Liberia, over 100. I don't want to talk about everybody having their own television station here, there, and yonder. If we are going to allow and give credence to one group, we have to give permission to all of them. Do you think that Retana cannot even accommodate how many people? We can't allow the place to be crowded with everybody having cell phone, filming, broadcasting. Let ELBC, with their professional equipment, be doing the broadcast. All of you with your little camera and talking about, you can relay from them. But this time, ELBC or ECOWAS. That's it.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from you, Mr. Scoa.
And painfully, I agree with Bishop Hager on this one. I mean, it's just we need to put things back into perspective, in order. It would be the right thing for the country, for the media institutions that under the government to cover all this very huge, ceremony that is about to go on. Too many media people are in Liberia. It has gotten too much. People really actually go to school for communications and go and get the degrees and stuff. They don't even have a chance to be able to give that gift of what they have learned, because too many media people are out there and they don't even know what they're doing. So I agree with Unity Party on this one. They're standing their ground and they're starting on a good foot. I mean, let's see what they got. But leading up to the inaugurations, the series of the event has been scheduled to engage the public, and set the tone for the historic occasion. According to the release from the Subcommittee on Media and Communication, a press service is scheduled at the Benson Street Mosque on Friday, January 19th. So tomorrow, there will be a press service. That's the activities now. Tomorrow, there will be a press service on January 19th at the Benson Street Mosque. And then following this, a youth concert will be held on Saturday, January 20th, to celebrate the vibrant spirit of Liberian young population. So they're having a concert on the 20th. They did not announce where, they did not announce the time, but they announced the date. Then they said on Sunday, January 21st, an intercessory service will be conducted at the Effort Baptist Church in Pinsville. There's that church, I think elected President Bwaka is a deacon in that church. So there will be a service conducted there on Sunday the 21st at 10 a.m. This spiritual event aims to seek divine blessings from the incoming administration. The highlights of the festival, the festivity will be the inauguration ceremony on January 22nd, which is on Monday. And it will be followed by a presidential luncheon at the venue yet to be announced. So they're still having announced a lot of venues. And we heard that because of the money that was supposed to change hands for the inauguration, and the UP people has not gotten the money, or the committee, the inaugural committee has not gotten the money. So all these places, I don't know, they are not announced. And I don't know how the people, because these things were supposed to be done at least in 2 weeks for people to know where they're going, so people to make sure they set up their different plans to be able to get to those places. So there where we are with the whole inauguration ceremony. So, and we are looking forward to watch it online because we are not in Liberia. And
Thank you. And to the
excited. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grace said something that Grace said something that is on the front of the Liberian media. And Grace said there's so many journalists in Liberia, some of them don't know what to do. Grace has to remember that she's a young lady. She could be vying for any position in Liberia. The media will lift you up. But what are the weaknesses of the media do you see that prompted your statement?
I don't know, Mr. Tagba, because you're in Liberia, I don't know whether you just see these things, but because we are out, sometimes when you're looking for us in, it's a whole different view that you get. The media, I respect the media institution. They how they call it? How they call it again? The media institution.
The Press Union of Liberia. I respect
the Press Union of Liberia. The Press Union of Liberia. I respect every media entity. I respect every media institution. I'm just saying that most time, the majority of the media institution, they are not professional in Liberia, and there are too many of them. As Mr. Bishop Hagar said, they allow all of them to get there. There will be no seat for the people to sit because there are too many of them. And most of the media stations and the TVs now, they are not really certified according to the international standard for media. They are not certified enough. So it's better that we use our government media institution, and then those people can relay from them. But we need professionalism now in the media institution in Liberia, and it's just a fair thing to say. I'm not trying to downgrade anyone, but for you
Well,
to be
well,
you have
I wanted for you to point to some of the shortcomings of the media, unprofessional. I
David,
wanted for you to cite one or two examples of the
even the
unprofessionalism.
unprofessionalism I'm talking about is even the way they even bring the information. The way they bring the information is very poor. Sometimes they're giving the information and you can't even get the real reason why, like the why, the how, the what, all those different things that the media professional will lay out so you can understand the story. We don't get the story laid out very clearly to us. And we watching from outside. Sometimes we just see a person running with a phone. Okay, the place happening now. It's happening now. It's just like you can't really get the real story for real media institutions. They don't relay news like that. It's just getting too much in like, brother. Everybody now are journalists, and everybody got radio station and TV station. I hope one of the things that Joseph Braga government would do is to try to make sure that most of the radio stations that the media people and everybody that's claiming to be a journalist should be certified journalists. Means that they should go and get some certification and always renew that certification. Every year they renew it means that they're going to train and retrain, to the standard of the media world into this world. And that's what we are looking forward to with this government.
Thank you, Ms. Dua.
Mr. Squad, to what you say, I understand you agreed with Bishop Hager on that, but some may have a different argument though. Now, I understand your point that when it comes to the issue of journalism and reporting in Liberia, is not up to where it should be as far as even Africa's standard is concerned. But if you will pick two out of so many media institutions, I think then it raises an alarm. Because even in the US, now all of the media institutions here gets to go to the inauguration, but there are 5 or 10 of them. So if you limit it to just 2, it means you're calling into questions the other media institution. And to your point, are you saying that the government media institution, they are more qualified than those other media institutions that are in Liberia? I will have a serious argument with that. Because my point being, or the argument here is pick at least 5, pick at least 10, let them cover the inaugurations. Because if we're really drawing the line for journalism, there are people at ERBCs too that are not even up to standards. But if we're pushing the argument for press freedom, pick 10. Maybe the first 10 to apply for it with the two national media institutions. But if you pick just 2 of them, then I feel like you're not pushing the press freedom agenda that Bishop Hager says he's pushing. So again,
Can I make a comment?
I'll give you the opportunity to make a comment, Bishop Hager. Go ahead.
Yeah, number one, the statute of the ELBC is not a government media entity. ELBC is a public media entity. It reflects every view and aspiration of the Liberian people. That is our media entity, and is there to promote the function of government. When things are taking place, they are there to promote the function of government. Now, with this inaugural program, they did not take different media institutions. They took one from Liberia, ELBC, and they took one that represents the entire ECOWAS. 2. And you, Derek, we have to agree that they are going to produce the cream de la cream, the best of the journalists to cover that important ceremony. We're not going to say here tonight that, listen, ELBC have the order the journalists are best. But for the inaugural program, those who are going to be the face of ELBC going to be the cream. That is the top level journalists. From the ECOWAS going to be the top level journalists. And let's portray something professional and something good. Let the people hear. I mean, we are all, I mean, David can attest. David did a brilliant interview with Murray Broad today. Yes, some of y'all, I don't want to be political here. Yes, some of the people from different media entities coming in and asking unnecessary questions because they want to gain political capital. We're not going to allow all of that confusion. Yeah, we got to control things. It must happen, and our agenda must go ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also want to inject something, and I think that it also has to do with, I don't know anything about what they're doing, but in my mind thinking, I think that it has to do with safety and security as well. You know what happened at the UP headquarters, recently when Bouaga won the elections, where this car came and just killed a lot of people. So they're trying to reduce all of those things. And that's the reason why, safety and security is one of the main things that is not really happening in Liberia right now. So I think because of that too, that's the reason why they made that decision. I'm just saying,
yeah. I mean, I totally get that point. And yeah,
Derek,
go ahead.
Derek, Bishop Higa said that those are ELBC and ECOWAS are high level journalists. I don't know what yardstick he's using to take that to come to that conclusion.
I'll come to
it's highly debatable. It's arguable.
I don't think I don't think that's what he said. I will come in defense against my co-host, but I think when the battle line is on the inauguration, it's just not President-elect Bouaga face that will be there. It's the image of the country. I think that's where Bishop Higa was coming from. So ELBC may not necessarily have the best of journalists, but when they are reporting the inauguration, they should put their best journalists out there. I think that's where you're coming from. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't think he was making a comparison between the journalists at ELBC and that of other media institutions in Liberia. But again, let me come back to you, Bishop Higa. Let's move forward. What are your anticipation on the inauguration, for the inauguration, and then after the inauguration, especially on?
I've been waiting for this question for the past 6 years.
Let me just finish it on the manage your expectation part. Amara Connors was to manage our expectations, so you can speak to that too.
Yeah, Amara Connors said manage your expectations, and it's always be misunderstood. We have a lot of goodwill. We are looking for all of the resources. We're going to deliver some of those tangible in the shortest possible time. Human being as we all are, there are other factors, other factors. There's global reality, global economic reality. Today, 1 week ago, I was watching sorry if I have to be personal, just looking at my 501c, looking at my 401k, and then my money management said you just lost $5,000 just in a day based on what's happening on Wall Street. So global economic reality can impose some situation. So what we are telling our people, we are going to fight corruption. We're going to manage. We have a extensive fiscal management system in place. We're going to deliver to the Liberian people. However, we don't want to be like people who have not been in government. We've been in government before. We know that it's fluid. Things can change. However, we're going to provide a leadership. We're going to be truthful to the Liberian people. The new sheriff is in town. I'm glad. And President George Weah just admitted that his 6th year was a wasted year. He never intended to rule the country. He was never prepared. He was very incompetent. He said he's not even going for the second round. He was not even going to politics because this thing was not it was not for him. So we thank God the Liberian people have decided to empower He admitted in his church, this is not for me. I would not even attempt to go there anymore. And we thank him for being very transparent, because the Liberian people were being deceived by those criminals who wanted to hijack the nation, because George was incompetent, never wanted to do anything about leadership, and they were just exploiting his ignorance. But now there's a new sheriff in town. We're going to put things in place.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Goa. Let's hear from you before I take a question.
Let's be clear. Joseph Boakai is now no new sheriff. That new sheriff thing was about the money, but Joseph Boakai is an old sheriff checking back to reality. He is not a new sheriff in town yet. We're not putting that slogan on him or whatsoever. But Joseph Boakai said that he wants a modest inauguration, means that he wants the inauguration to be very, very simple. He don't want anything too extravagant, because he's trying to prepare himself to tackle the Liberian people issues that they have. And he knew that there was a lot of issues on the floor that Liberian people had. There was a lot of things that went wrong during the 6 years, and also things that he said that when he was in government, they scum a lot of opportunities, right? That's what he said.
Yes.
So for him
No, I was just helping you out. Squandered opportunity. Yeah.
Was exactly. Thank you, Mr. Tagwe. He said there was squandered opportunities in the government that he served in, and he also said that this government was not the government that's going out now was not doing the right thing, and which everybody saw. But so we know that he is already prepared. He has already known the issues before, so therefore nobody here can become the expectation. All the presidential candidates that were running, they lay everything on the table of what they were going to be able to give Liberia and what they could do for Liberia. They never told us when they can't no more way and we must manage our expectations. Everybody said they were going to be able to deliver. He won the election by preaching that he able to change Liberia, and the people's expectations are high, and he has to live up to that. Nobody will manage their expectations. They will give Liberians what they deserve, because if he had not come in this race and that the Moniba had won this race, there were not going to be no managed expectations. The first day, soon as announcing, everybody was going to be willing to be able to do exactly what the Liberian people deserve. So that's that managed expectation thing. They better throw it away, because we're coming after them when things are not good for that country. Because we expect them to say they could do it, and the people believe them. So they need to deliver what they said they were going to give. And we want it right away. We don't want to wait. Our first 100 days, we want to see what they're going to give us. In the first 100 days, the first year, they have to lay out what they're going to deliver to us. And then the second year, just like that. We don't want no waste of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Goa. David, it seems like
I'd like to ask Mr. Hager, because Derek's question is, what are your expectations? And as soon as Joseph Boakai takes office on Monday, I believe the next day he will start announcing members of his cabinet. And my question is, what caliber of people you expect Joseph Boakai to appoint? What characteristics should they have to fit in the position, or to fit in ministerial positions? What are the characteristics you expect? The question is also for Goa, Madam Goa, and Bishop Yeager. Let's start. Maybe Miss Goa, Mrs. or Miss. Let me get that one straight first.
Full mistress.
Okay, Mrs. Goa.
Mm-hmm.
What characteristics do you expect of Joseph Boakai incoming members of the cabinet?
Oh, I already made a post on my Facebook page. We are expecting a very, very good cabinet from Joseph Boakai. He already knows the issues. He knows what we've been through this last 10 years. People that were in government, some of them never even had a sixth-grade education. So we expect his cabinet to have that education background, number one. They should also be experienced people that are coming in there. So the positions that they are put in for, they should have experience in it. We are expecting that too. We don't want no greenhorn. to go sit down in a position, come and can learn in the position. No, we're not looking for that. We are looking for people who have high experiences on the position that they are giving. We are going to be doing the background checks. And thank God for America, because most of them came from on this end, and some of them in Liberia. Now we have searches that you can search information on people from their last job they did, and whether they were fired from that job, and what they did on that job as far as their productivity. So we'll be checking all those things for his cabinet. So we expect a very, modest and very, very highly intelligent cabinet for Liberia, because what we've been through, like someone sorted backwards after Ellie left. He needs to come, and he needs to come with a strong team in all the aspects I just gave you. You will not put somebody to commerce who don't have any education or experience about working that field before. We're going to question that. It's already going on in the House of Representatives, or the senator, them that were just the last different committees that was appointed to these different senators by the news, the project that just came in, and they're giving people different committees to head. And most of these people that they're giving the committees to head, they have no clue on those committees. They have no experience on it. They have never interacted with that kind of position they're giving them. So we worry right now how is it that his cabinet going to be? Because even in the Senate, if you put in somebody over a committee for internal affairs, and that person have not really interacted internationally with anything foreign affairs, and that person have not acted internationally in any foreign aspect concerning Liberia, it concern us. And then you make somebody like Prince Johnson, who is a sanctioned public official, you get him, or he heading the internal affairs, and this man has been sanctioned. You know that very much that he was heading some security thing before in the Senate, and the American people refused to work with him. It's concerning. All these. Then you got Nathaniel McGill, for education. He's heading that committee. What records are there? What is experience there? So we are looking forward. We don't expect anything. We are hoping for something good for the cabinet, but we right now, from what we see in the Senate, we don't expect anything very good from there. And that's just my personal opinion.
Thank you. Let's hear from you, Bishop Hager.
Well, I like what she said, Mrs. Goa said her personal opinion. And I'm glad that it's your personal opinion. You like to.
You yourself to own your personal opinion you gave me. What opinion you gave me?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I want Liberian people to be aware of that. Well, for the Calabar cabinet, Honorable Joseph Human Bwaga said the whole method of his administration is Liberia first, Liberia first, Liberia first. So we are going to put in place a robust thing that will show the Liberian people that they are working as seriously for the interest and the betterment of Liberia. I also want to remind that we have a pool of qualified, competent people who will make sure that the area of expertise have been employed to bring the betterment of the Liberian people. We're also going to understand where our nation is. Our nation is very pluralized. You cannot rule out the fact that every different segment of our nation need to be represented in this government with qualified, competent people. So it is a very, very challenging thing because we have all the different counties, different district, different level of composition of our population that need to have at least some representation. While we are pushing for our development agenda, we also want to maintain the peace, the unity among our people. It is not easy, but I can tell you, Derek, next week, when we come back on this high zone and we have gotten the official presentation of the cabinet, you can ask me where Liberia will be going. You will be happy. You will be very glad that at least we have gotten over this nightmare of 6 years and have qualified and competent people. And let me tell Mrs. Guap, we would extend a hand of a fellowship to your friend and brother, your stand bearer. He's a Liberian that if you want, we will be able to employ him to area of competence, and he can also contribute towards Liberian development. That's what I want to say.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank you.
forget about the politics. Let's move ahead
It's interesting.
to nation building right now.
No, it's interesting that you said that. You actually changed the question that I wanted to ask you, but I'll ask you that later on. Now, you're talking about Clarence Moniba. Now, after the first round of the elections were over, we saw pictures of JMB reaching out to members of the opposition community, including Alexander Cummings and Mr. Moniba and other opposition leaders. Now, after he won the elections, we don't see pictures of him reaching out to those people for their expertise in running the government. But now you're talking about you will reach out. When has he ever shown that he will actually reach out to those people?
Listen, your left to always politicize.
When before you come in,
Listen to me.
is that when he will even reach out to the people?
And
He, as the people reach out to him, he rejecting to even meet some of them. So let's just be clear here.
Listen.
So far, the leadership of the Senate is zero to me.
Can I speak?
Let's protect Mr. Hager.
Can I speak? Listen, when the election was over, we got in the phase of governance, preparing a team, and we use different channel communication interaction. So please allow the process. We are reaching out to every goodwill Liberian, those who love the nation, to say, come on board. You heard a speech that the president-elect made after he won the election. He called on every Liberian that this is the time. What more do you want him to do? To go to each of them their home and say, come on, let me sit down with you? No.
He did that for the second round. He did that for the second round. Why he can't do it now?
We already won the election. We want to go and start again. Oh, what? No. We don't do that.
Can I come in, Derek?
Yes, please. Let me hear from you.
Bishop Hager, when the president is announced, when he announced after an election, most of the people that ran for the same position will try to go and congratulate him. And that's just the right thing to do. Yeke Koluba sat right here on this Facebook page, one of your supporters, and he said that on his interview press conference that some of the people even went to the man to congratulate him. He took the back door. And he never wanted to meet some of the people because they did not stand with him in the election. Some of them were neutral and some of them picked the side of CDC. So the people who were neutral and picked the side of CDC, he did not want to meet them. Right there, that's the divide. And Liberians are always like that. They always like to hold grudge in their heart. But when everybody running in a race, people have to stand that this is a competition. I'm not going to be for you at that point in time. Now it left for him to choose the competent people. He knows the worth of these people that ran, most of them that ran in the presidential election. I'm talking about the one that just King and wanted to be a part of something in the register because everybody can register. No, I'm talking about those competent people, those people who got experience on the job. He knows them, he knows who they are. So for him not to want to include them in his government is very sad for the Liberian people. And I just wanted to say that. So, but I don't know whether he has reached out.
Mrs. Gore.
Yes, sir.
With all honesty, can you witness? We let announce the cabinet, then you can make comment on that. But we have not even announced the cabinet. You even taste the food, you start saying the food bitter.
But from the leadership and the Senate side, I already know the food better because the committee and the people who had in there had no escape. So I already know the food better.
Will charge you with contempt of the senator. The senators.
I think that my charge me with contempt.
Yeah, listen,
they will have somebody to deal with.
Listen. The senator. How many senators we have in Liberia?
Let's not move into that conversation. Let's stay on.
I want to know that they have to give them responsibility. You cannot. The Liberian people elected Matanda Magere, so they should not give you any responsibility in the Senate. Is that what you're saying? No.
What I'm saying is that
and you don't need to have STDs.
Answer the question now.
No, I want to. David, you need to help me.
Mr. Hager, I think Grace's argument, Mr. Hager, Grace's argument, I guess, is that Putin runs set into square, I don't know, square hole, what they call it.
Thank you.
You know,
That one of my
putting
arguments. Putting the
the
people
one that said that.
into head of committee that they have no experience in. When last did you see Natalia Magay do anything concerning with education in Liberia? And the fact that he is a sanctioned senator, although the people voted him in, this is a concern for us. That will the international community be willing to work with people like that concerning Liberia? You take away from the country if you do that. And that's our point.
Thank you.
And Bishop Hager, let me ask a final question. Let me ask a final question, Bishop Hager. Bishop Hager, what sort of government are you trying to form now? A government of inclusion, or you are going to discriminately select your ministers because they are from the background of the United Party or because they support the United Party?
Well, thank you. It was not a United Party alone that won the election. It was the alliance of different parties that work along with the Unity Party. So our
what
first,
parties that were not part of the alliance, but they are Liberian and qualified to work in the government?
Listen, David, when you get food to devour, you give it to your children first, and then when some leave, you give it to other people.
That's a good one.
Bishop Hager.
My mother never did that. Ask anybody who lives in Lokita, my mother did not do that. When she had food to devour, she gave her children, she gave everybody children in the neighborhood. Until people called me on Christmas and was telling me, Grace, you know, Merry Christmas. I remember my Mary when we come there, she used to give all of us sandwich to eat. She did not want to give her children. So parents who do that, they are selfish parents. So that's who Joseph Parker is. Is that what you're trying to tell us the other night?
Well, let me tell you, thank you very much. My mother used to do that. That's why most of us used to be hungry all the time. Because you would take our food and give it to other people. Every day we attest to that. We used to be hungry. Other people, their mother can share with us. She used to do it. So we used to be hungry most of the time. We can't do that thing right now.
Bishop Hager, I have a question for you. Two questions. I will start with this one. A couple of episodes ago, a matter of fact, on the final episode for season 4, you made a commitment. You made a promise that Ambassador Parker will release or publish his assets before day 1 of his administration. We have just a couple of days, and his assets still haven't been published. Do you still want to stay with that commitment to the Liberian people?
I'm staying with that commitment 1,000%. Today is Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. We have Friday, we have Saturday, we have Sunday, we have Monday. So watch
and then
my word.
I'm just reminding you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We are committed to everything.
And Derek, guess what?
New day have arrived for Liberia. New day, a new dispensation.
I just wanted to remind you on what you said.
I know everything I said.
And Derek, the newly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives has challenged members of that house to declare the assets, and he says he would take the lead. What do you think about that, Madam Grace? Madam Guami?
Can you come and give me some time about
the new Speaker of the House? The new Speaker of the House is asking. I'm asking that question because of the question Derek asked Bishop Hager. The new Speaker of the House is asking the fellow members of the House to declare their assets. You think it's the right direction to go now?
Oh, yes. And I'm really enjoying what the Speaker is doing because that's the right thing to do. The Liberian people wants to know what they have before they get into to start serving them because it's our right to know. That's our God giving him a right to know what these people have before they go into government. We don't want to experience the same thing and they come into government and start building mansions and say that their money and then we do that they couldn't even rent one bedroom. So we just want to know. And Ambassador Parker said that he's going to declare his access. We are holding him onto it. Tuesday morning, we'll be expecting his asset to be declared.
Thank you very much. And let me come back to you, Bishop Pickett, and let's move on to the inaugural address. If there's one thing about inaugurations that we know in history is that opportunity is used to make like one famous quote that moved the nation, either unite the nation, right then and there. We know about the John F. Kennedy 1961 ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. You know, but Barack Obama 2009, we know of George Manuel Weah in 2018 when he said you will not be a spectator in your economy. Now, I'm saying that to say what can we expect from Joseph Boakai, especially knowing that we had a very divisive elections. We had elections where even the numbers shows that people were really divided. What can we expect? Will he use his inaugural address to make promises, or will he use his inaugural address to unite the country? What are you anticipating when it comes to the inaugural address?
What a great speech. A wonderful speech. It will be about bringing the Liberian people together to let them know why you did not vote for me, but I'm the president for all Liberians. Also, in that speech, you will see the clear map for economic progress. You will also see in that speech that we're not going to be talking just mob talk. Time for action. We're going to be fighting corruption, the days of corruption, the days of, let me make it very emphatically clear, the days of corruption, those corrupt, incompetent politicians that stole money, they got to find different way to sit right now because we are going to make them accountable to the Liberian people. For so long, our people have been abused by politicians. The president is going to call on all Liberians, regardless of your political connection, to rally around this new government for Liberia progress and development. They're going to be very emphatic. They're going to be very passionate. They're going to drive all Liberia in the right direction. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome day on Monday. Monday, I'll be celebrating in my red, white, and blue, celebrating. Just telling, I will just be praising all Liberians. Liberians, the days have come for you to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to say something quickly to one of the people that are watching. I saw somebody say that he has 90 days to declare his asset. We understand he has 90 days to declare his asset. We're just saying the asset declaration, most time when the president, this is not a rocket science. It's not anything. Just to tell the people this is what I have, you put it out there. So for him to be able to do a lot of other things, it would be better he declare his asset by next week. After he's inaugurated, he'll be done with that. I don't think there's anything hard.
You're going to declare assets, and what we have there is what is there.
Yeah, although he has 90 days, but the sooner the better will get.
I think though he has 90 days, but he doesn't have to wait for the 89th day before he.
You're going to declare it day one. You're going to declare it day one. Trust me, the man of his word.
Yeah. So you want to talk briefly on the inaugural address, the same question Bishop Baker just addressed. What are your expectations on the inaugural address?
Oh, my expectations on the inauguration address is very high. I'm expecting Obama to talk about how he's going to help us with safety and security in the country. I'm very concerned about that because a lot of times we try to bring people to Liberia to help in different aspects in the private sector, and they are afraid to come there, and that take away from the country and take away from our people. So I'm expecting for him to address that. I also expect him to address the cases that are in court right now with all these injustice to all these people that are going through trials in Liberia, and then all those people too that rape people. I expect him to address the rape issue in the country because George Weah never did that. He was calling himself feminist in chief, but under his regime, a lot of women were molested and abused. So we expect him to address that. We are not talking anything the family way anymore. We want cases like that to go to court, so he needs to speak on that. He needs to also speak on human rights because a lot of people were abused in Liberia during the last 6 years. He needs to talk about that and tell the people how he's going to make sure that is not going to happen in his government, and assure them what he's going to do and make sure that people are prosecuted. We want him to speak on that as well. We want him to speak on the marginalization on women and children in the country. We want them to focus more on our children because they are our future generation of leaders. What he's going to do to change their lives. That children in the should not be in the street selling a certain time in the day. At least after school, they can go ahead and help their parents. But that time from 8 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we don't want to see children in the street. We want him to address that as well, and we want him to address the corruption and that took place in his last government, and what he's going to do for his government to not suffer that kind of corruption that took place. Because he's an experienced man, he's been in government for a long time, so he should have all the information and all the technical know-how, and also the people that will be able to execute that. And we don't want that to be delayed. We want, and if I continue, I will talk forever because I want to discuss a lot, to make sure he address a lot of things. So I will stop right there right now.
Thank you very much, Mistress Grace Goa. And while we can talk about the politics of things on our expectation, or how high or low our expectations are when it comes to the new administration, I think it's important for us to commend the Liberian people and to also encourage them to use the 22nd of this month, the inauguration day, as a day to celebrate democracy, because what we did during this elections period is not very common in Africa. Not only did we go through the last 6 years peacefully without any political prisoner, but we also went through an election period very peacefully, democratically elected a new leader, and I think we should celebrate democracy on the 22nd of January. So if you participated in the election, if you contributed to the peace that we enjoy today, whether fragile or not, I think it's important that we celebrate this because we set a record. We set an example in Africa when it comes to democracy. So I think that day will also give us the opportunity to celebrate that. But again, thanks to all of you for your contribution tonight. We'll take one last break, and after that, we will come back with and give you guys the opportunity to close. But again, let's take a break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for staying with us this far on the Hard Zone episode 2, season 5. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm playing host tonight, joined by my co-host, Mr. David Tartway, and Mrs. Grace Goa, Bishop Hager, playing panelists tonight on this episode. We've had a very interesting conversation here tonight, ranging from the conversation with in the case between Jessica and Lucas. And also we'll talk about the case involving the former Chief Justice, Councilor Gloria Musu-Scout. And we also had a pre-inauguration conversation here. So it was very interesting tonight, but we've reached a point where we have to draw the curtain to this episode. But before I do that, let me thank those of you in the audience for your participation tonight. Some of you left comments in our comment section, and some of them were addressed by our panelists. But again, we always like to thank you so much for watching and also sharing the program, following this network, and then contributing to the show as well. But for now, let's come back to the panelists and me give you guys the opportunity to give us your closing remark. I would like to start with you, Mrs. Goa, and then I'll take Bishop Hager next, and then after my co-host will just wrap up this episode for us.
Thank you, Derek. I would like to thank the audience for being here with us. We really appreciate you coming and making comments. And I just want to assure you that your comments help us to be able to answer some of the questions that you will have on your mind for this panelist, and for this particular show. I would like to thank Mr. Tagbe. I would like to thank Bishop Hagar for being here. I would like to thank Derek as well for always being a point on person on the show. And I am looking forward to the inauguration, and I'm looking forward to a changed nation. I am happy that the government has changed, because it was very worrisome with this last government. If they had taken another 6 years, and it was going to ruin our country, and we all know that. Personally, I don't feel this government or the incoming government will be able to actually execute what they said they would do, but we are hoping that they will do it. The reason why I don't think so is that because I did not feel that Umen Pwaka was the person now to lead Liberia. Right now, Liberia need a very young and energetic person, hands-on on what is going on and very alert about everything. And I don't think he's in that capacity right now, but he was the one the Liberian people choose. So I'm hopeful, and I'm praying that he will be able to give them what they actually need and what they expected from him. And we're looking forward to come here next week Thursday and talk about the inauguration and everything else that will be happening before that time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Squire. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for your continuous contribution to this show. Now, let's hear from you, Bishop Hagar. Take this as an inaugural speech. Let me give you the opportunity to close on this show.
Well, I want to thank my sister, Mrs. Well, David, you've been excellent in your reportage in Liberia. Thank you, Derek, for being here into the audience. I know most of you, small sedition, says that I'm a fake pastor. I've been reading your comment, but that's also
why would you want to address that?
Democracy. You may not like everything that I'm saying here, but I'm a very passionate person about Liberia. We're not just speaking; we are part of the process to move Liberia to the next level. Honorable Joseph Human Bwaga is the right person for Liberia, a trusted, qualified, competent person. The new day have dawned in Liberia. And trust me, Liberians, you made the right choice. You're going to see and feel your government impact into your life. You're going to be fighting corruption. We're going to be managing the economy. We're going to be putting fiscal discipline. We're going to make Liberia to be among the community or nation on the path of progress and development. I'm here tonight to say to the Liberian people, please, the time of politicking is over. The next 6 years, it's time for governance. You may not understand some things, but please, we'll be able to address your concern. We are not perfect people. We don't expect to be perfect, but we are patriotic Liberians that truly believe that with our collective effort, the nation can go to the new level that we all want. We are here in America. Some all have different citizenship, but we are there contributing, helping to take Liberia to the next level. So to my sister Grace and to all those who do not believe in Joseph Bwaga, that's your right. But I will tell you in the next 3 years, after we are gone minute, you will come back here and congratulate us and say, yes, it was a God-sent administration. Liberia is now on the right path. And again, we extend our hand of fellowship to all Liberian politicians. The fact of the matter is, some of them don't see things the way we see, and that's right. That's okay. But we believe that Liberia is for all Liberians. And if you have anything constructive to contribute to all Liberia, we welcome you and we work with you. Ideas are very, very important. We're not going to wish on anybody. The process of auditing the outgoing government is priority number one. Guess I'm telling you, priority number one. So much money. Right now, we're talking about the Central Bank of Liberia don't even have money because they depleted the coffer. We want to know where the money is spent. 50 million was spent on campaign. Why do you have to take the Liberian people money to spend on themselves for their political ambition? We got to talk about these things. We're not going to wish on anybody, but the facts are there. We're going to make sure Liberian people benefit from the country. God bless you, and on Monday. Please, all Liberian, wherever you are in Liberia, around Liberia, in America, you wherever, please that day I've gotten my red, white, and blue. Please, if I see any Liberian on social media that don't wear red, white, and blue, I will just block you. There's a time for the patriotic. Let love Liberia, let put Liberia first, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Hager, for your contribution here. And I remember to wear my red, white, and blue because I don't want you to black me. So, well, let's hear from you, Mr. Type. Just wrap it up.
Yeah,
Everyone,
Mr.
you're going
Hager,
to go around with red, white, and blue.
Mr. Hager is a threat to Facebook people.
Why? If
Mr.
you want
President, those fire.
to stay his friends on
Okay.
Facebook on Monday, better wear red,
Yeah.
white, and blue.
Okay, well, Derek, I'd just like to thank Bishop Hagar and Mrs. Bois for showing up. Actually, they've demonstrated their commitment by coming. You know, they Hasbro used to be flooded, most especially during the campaign period. And now we're seeing two persons that actually shows their commitment. And I'd like to especially thank them for putting aside their business schedule. Even Bishop Hagar, which will be in Moravia for the inaugural program, it's in the US, but stay is on the hard zone. Mrs. Gua, who should be thinking about writing another book, is also here on the hard zone. I must thank them for their time and commitment to the hard zone. Derek, I must also thank you, Derek, for putting the uncle business one side and asking Bishop Hagar the questions.
You see, you bring the uncle and nephew on the show. But again, thank you, David. You compliment me better and very well. You make a very good co-host. And again, let me just re-echo what I said earlier. Thank you, Bishop Haggard and Mrs. Coa. And again, guys, I know someone asked in the comment, we're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, United States. So catch us again on Thursday at 8 p.m. with our panelists and co-hosts. So again, before
And just the Liberia time to Derek, Eastern Time. What in Liberia? What's the time? I guess I'm full. Like
that's the thing. You're supposed to announce that because I wouldn't know what time it will be. So 8 p.m. here. I think
Ahead of you,
we'll be
we
like
are 4
midnight.
hours behind you. So right now you will be in Liberia is 11. Yeah, right now it's 3:27.
7 minutes after 4.
Yeah, after 4,
No,
so
7,
5 hours.
no, 7 minutes after 4.
It's after 4, 5 hours. The time, we had
After 4, okay. That
daylight
is 5
saving.
hours. Okay.
So yeah, next Thursday, join us. Next Thursday, join us at 8 p.m. Eastern Time if you're in the United States, and
please
also
let
at
your-
12
Please let all your
midnight.
hosts know and co-hosts or those who are going to come on the program next Thursday. I'm going to be here live by the special grace of God. You must show your
Thank you.
patriotism. If you don't come here with a national call, I'm not going to be talking to you.
Derek,
I'm
Derek,
telling you.
Derek, are you giving the bishop another chance to talk? Then you'll be unfair to Grace.
The bishop won the election so he can break the house on rules, I guess. But again, after we don't want him to close the network down. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for the time tonight. We'll see you guys next week Thursday at 8 p.m. Until then, all of you have a pleasant night.
Okay, good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.